table office, we will need some innovation how we can deal with these questions. Speaker, we on this side of the House have been patient. The last meeting, a number of critical questions were not answered. Because as at the time we had decided to dispense of these questions in whole, then we had the budget and estimates were being considered. So we all compromised in the spirit of ensuring that we are able to dispense of business. So, Leader, we must insist on these questions. On a lighter note, at Business Committee today, you have said that we could approach it through a win-win. Obviously, you said it on a lighter note. The orders do not allow you that. So the questions will have to be answered. How do we deal with it? Speaker, where instances where the sector ministers cannot appear, the deputies must be made to come and answer these questions. So the writing of letters to say that the ministers are out of jurisdiction, they are unavoidably absent, must end. These 8 weeks, let's get clinical, let's get effective, and let's deal with these over 300 questions that are outstanding. A champion is looking, you are staring at me. You are the deputy whip. Make sure the ministers come. If they cannot come, the deputies must be here. Speaker, 8 weeks. So the last meeting, we had a number of our bills, for want of better expression, we were rushing a number of the bills. Yes, Chief Whip, I have your attention. We're rushing a number of them. So, if, as we know ahead of time, that is 8 weeks, if we are going to have extended sitting, let's factor extended sitting ab initio, so that we don't wait 5 days to adjournment. Then you say we should have extended sitting, and we end up punishing ourselves unnecessarily. Leader, if I have your attention, so let's pay attention to that. Where we think that extended sitting will be relevant, let's consider it and factor it ab initio. So these will be my observation. I see the motions that had been pending for some time have all been advertised. We hope we'll go by this business statement. As we go, if for any reason any question has to be changed, days schedule for questions have to be changed, we need to be given a prior notification. Leadership needs to be engaged. I can bear with Majority Leader. First week from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, well, not even one question has been advertised. Meanwhile, we knew ahead of time that a number of these questions are still pending. So, Majority, I don't know how you can justify that for all the week, not even one minister is being scheduled to come and take this question. Because of the number of questions we have on our standing, I want to suggest strongly to you that even though this is the business statement which we are going to adopt largely, let's look at the possibility of getting, the road minister is there, he has a number of his questions. He is always present, he's not like others, he's not like other ministers, he is always here. The energy minister is also not like others, he is always present. There are questions that were advertised in the name of the energy minister and the road minister. He is ready to answer them. Why don't you put them here? So we have been charitable enough. These questions must find expression in the business statement. Then we can hold them to it and make sure that the ministers come here and do justice by answering this question. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, Majority Leader, you may respond to that.
Right Honourable Speaker, I think the Honourable Minority Chief Whip was at Business Committee meeting, and indeed we discussed all the issues that he has repeated here. And I had given him every assurance that we are going to engage the ministers and ensure that as much as possible we are able to have them in the House to answer as many questions as possible. But in addition, at Business Committee meeting, I did indicate that we will engage your good self, Right Honourable Speaker, and your deputies so that we can have some understanding regarding questions that will allow supplementaries, how long questions should last, how long answers should last, how many questions each member should be allowed to ask in every meeting, so that we can manage the time very efficiently. So all those were discussed at Business Committee meeting. And also, we urge the various committee chairpersons to whom bills have been referred to make sure that they report back to this House early enough for us to take those bills through consideration stage, and not to wait until in the dying days of a meeting. Then they will be putting pressure on honourable colleagues to have to stay late into the night to work on those bills. And so we'll be pushing the various chairpersons to work on bills referred to them expeditiously and bring it back to this House. And I've started insisting and demanding that all chairpersons who have had bills pending before them, before we went on recess, must immediately bring them the report, at least for us to debate, and then we take the bills through the consideration stage. That's the only way that we can ensure that some bills don't get taken in the dying days of a meeting, and then we'll all be having to sit here till late in the night. I can assure you that all ministers who have to be in this House are punctual. They attend. Sometimes the reason why you don't see ministers is that sometimes they come here waiting for us to start. I know, for instance, the finance minister was here around 12. He sat and waited. We've only started after 3 hours. And so he had to leave. And it's the same with a lot of ministers. So let's also try and be punctual. Speaker was ready. The reason why Speaker didn't start sitting is because our friends opposite decided that they would go and visit the new flag bearer at a time when this House is supposed to be sitting, and after you have done that, then you come and raise issues about times that we start proceedings. So, Mr. Speaker, let's all keep to the time. When we know that we have sitting starting at 2 p.m., let's all be here at 2 p.m. We can start, and then we can withdraw and go and then do other things. When we are needed, we'll be called back into the chamber. But because we are live on television and we have our own television station, Ghanaians are watching. So when we tell them we are starting at 12, they start watching out to see if we'll be there at 12. And so when we delay, it doesn't speak well of us as their leaders. So if you want us to be able to be punctual and then to have all the agenda that we have set for ourselves achieved, then we must, make sure we're in the chamber at the right time. I believe I have responded to all the issues that the Minority Chief Whip has raised. I believe the minority leader has no issue to raise. I don't think that he has any issue to raise. I don't believe the minority leader has any issue to raise.
Honorable members, the issue of time management is key, and we are going to stick to that in this meeting and thereafter. So I will take it that the statement as presented is adopted. Yes, Minority Leader.
Speaker, with respect, I have one issue, but I was signaling the Majority Leader that our colleague, Professor Nyakun, was on his feet. So I wanted him, if you so recognize him.
I recognize you because of the invitation to treat
Very well.
by the Majority Leader.
Speaker, he wants to start
So
at
if
any
you want
fight.
to add another thing, I will not accept
Mr.
that.
Speaker, no, I'm saying that I was signaling him that my
So
colleague...
you have nothing to say?
Mr. Speaker, I do. Because
Yes, I'll say it.
Oh, before him? Well, Mr. Speaker, that's fine. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, with respect, we have an important matter which has been pending for several months. Mr. Speaker, you may recall that the Chief of Staff, through a letter, directed that state agencies should terminate employment of Ghanaian youths who were employed after the 2024 elections. Mr. Speaker, we the minority became aware with evidence that there were some excesses in the sense that though the letter was specific that those who were recruited after the 2024 elections, Ghanaian youth who had been employed as far back as 2017 were all dismissed from their lawful employ. Mr. Speaker, the minority filed a motion. The motion was admitted by you. The Majority Leader raised a preliminary objection, which objection was upheld by the First Deputy Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we subsequently filed a motion for review under the rules of this House, which you admitted. Mr. Speaker, this motion was moved by my good self, seconded by my respected colleague from Ofuasia Yirbi, and the Chief Whip from the majority side, Honorable Eche Defiamepo, started the debate for his side. Mr. Speaker, the promise made by the chair was that the following Tuesday, the debate will continue so that you could eventually rule on the matter. Mr. Speaker, unfortunately, because it was a matter that you were the only one to preside, and because of some other intervening matters, we've not been able to take this motion, much as we kept prompting the Majority Leader to take steps to allow this to be done. Mr. Speaker, several times the motion appeared on the order paper, but we could not take it. Mr. Speaker, this is a matter that affects the livelihood of Ghanaians. Mr. Speaker, per the information we had, we have in excess of 15,000 Ghanaian youths affected by this directive, and they are still at home. In fact, the last time the employment minister was on the floor, he said that he had also received some petitions and he has caused some investigations to be done and he will revert to us. But that does not stop the House from inquiring into the matter just for the sake of good governance. Mr. Speaker, these Ghanaian youths are sitting at home, their wives, their extended family, they themselves. It's been over a year that they are not getting any justice. So, Mr. Speaker, I would humbly plead with the leader of government business to endeavor to include the motion in this report. I raised this at the business committee, and of course I must be fair with him, to him. The understanding was that we would have to engage you so that you give us time to hear, since you are the only person who can sit or preside on this particular motion. So that, Mr. Speaker, you give your ruling for a body, a committee to be set up to investigate this matter, so that the people out there who have been affected by this directive will know that the representatives of the people, Parliament, cares about their interests, and we are always willing to take steps. It's getting to a year. We are in February. The directive came in March 2025. It's far too long. So, Mr. Speaker, that is my very humble prayer on this rising. Thank you so much, sir.
Honorable members, on this matter, I direct that as chairman of the business committee, not leader of government business, but as chairman of the business committee, you cause this matter to be relisted and scheduled for consideration of the House. This thing has gone on since the inception of the Fourth Republic. Anytime there's a change of government, we have people's appointment being terminated, in many cases unlawfully, and they are not even paid. I remember as minority leader in 2001, all the staff of national mobilization were dropped. Nothing was paid. Some directors were dismissed. Some even went to the High Court. Rulings were given. Government did not abide by the rulings. And the lawyers struggled and they could not enforce them. The same happened again in 2009, continued up to date. I mean, we can't keep on this way. We have to improve. So if Parliament has decided to give some guidance as to the way forward, I think it's a good motion that we should create the opportunity for Parliament to have a say. So please take this directive as urgent and make sure that this motion be relisted for the consideration of the House. With this, I just want to inform you that we have Majority Leader.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Time management.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
He hasn't given the full facts. The objection that was raised in this House was based on the fact that the matter was pending in court. That was the objection that was raised. And the first Deputy Speaker ruled that to the extent that somebody had gone to seek constitutional enforcement of the rights of those people, it won't be appropriate for us as a Parliament to inquire into the matter. That was the objection. So, Mr. Speaker, these are the facts. These are the facts based on which the objection was taken. So, your deputy ruled based on those facts. So, if he wants us to relist it and debate it, we'll relist it, we'll debate it. You will consider debate in addition to the basis on which the first deputy, upheld my objection, and then you will take a decision. We have no problem. We're ready, except that when one of the parties has gone to court and the matter is in court, and then you say that Parliament should inquire into the same matter. And I said it will prejudice the outcome. And our rules are clear on that. So why don't we wait for them to litigate the matter in court and let us know the outcome? You're talking about some 200, 300. Who are they? Have you brought their list? When you file the motion, did you attach their names? Do you have specific people, specific organizations, and etc.? You just don't get up and then say things without any evidence. Yes, some people who were dismissed raise issues, but the law is there. If you feel you were unfairly dismissed, you can go to court. I know somebody in this chamber who was touting the NDC members, saying that he will see if NDC will be able to use protocol to recruit their party members into the agencies. Yes. And boasting about how they had done that. They had used protocol and they had populated all the agencies with their party boys. And they were waiting to see how the NDC is going to do that. This was public. It wasn't private. This was public.
The videos are all over.
The videos are all over. This is how some of those people got into the agencies. They did not get there on merit. Procedures were not complied with. There was no fairness. This is what happened. And I recall that I was a member of the transition committee. And at the transition committee meeting, we raised the issue.
Majority Leader, please, I've heard you. We would rather take your first point. And for this second one, you are just speaking in favor of what I said. That is something that we need to look into and then guide future governments. But you raised a first preliminary issue that it was based on the rules of the House, that the First Deputy Speaker made his place his decision on and gave the directive. First Deputy Speaker, may you confirm this before I can come to Minority Leader? Yes.
Right Honorable Speaker, it is very true that I base my decision on the fact that the matter was pending in court. Right Honorable Speaker, one of us, in the person of Vincent Ekwa Asafua, took the matter to the Supreme Court, and at the time that the application was made, his case was pending before the Supreme Court. So to constitute a committee to investigate whilst the matter is pending squarely before the Supreme Court will offend our rules. So, Right Honorable Speaker, on the basis of that, I ruled and given the appropriate directives.
Honorable Ekwa Asafua, or the Minority Leader, is the case still in court?
Mr. Speaker, with respect, let me, please. Mr. Speaker, with respect, this is a house of rules. The Majority Leader, through the submissions he made, is trying to throw dust into our eyes. The ruling of the First Deputy Speaker was challenged under Order 127 of our rules. We attached the ruling and stated the full facts of the case and filed this before you. Mr. Speaker, what the issue is simply that you admitted the grounds of our appeal. You admitted our motion for review. And in fact, we have actually moved our review application. I moved the review application. Honorable Member for Fuasa Yebi seconded the review application, and Honorable Defia Mako started the debate, had a 25-minute submission at the dispatch box. His boss was not there on his side. So, Mr. Speaker, all we are saying is that let us continue the debate. All this thing that he's saying, there was a ruling, we've moved past that. If a body of first instance makes a determination and a plaintiff in that matter is dissatisfied and appeals it, and a higher authority upholds the grounds of appeal and opens the case up, you don't go back and say that there was a ruling. We've moved past that. We've moved the motion, it's been seconded, and you the majority, you have submitted strong points in opposing our application. What the Speaker is saying is that let us relist it because the motion has been pending. We need to continue the debate. Then he makes a determination. That's what Mr. Speaker is saying. But where you are taking us back to, Mr. Speaker, is just to confuse everybody. We've moved past that. We've moved past that. Again, Mr. Speaker, our friends on the other side are not coming from a principled angle. The same argument. Mr. Speaker, we relied, the minority relied on the first Deputy Speaker's ruling in the matter of Justice Arabe Sabatu Tokonu. When the nomination came before this House, our argument was that for the time being, the ruling, which is the precedence in this House, was his ruling, which is if a matter is pending before court, to avoid any injustice, this House must stay its hands. This is what he said. Now, at the time my Lord Bafubwani was nominated, there were pending cases by Justice Tokonu. Two, the issues that can you be tolerant? The issues that my Lord Tokonu was pursuing had to do with her employment, and we felt that, Mr. Speaker, by allowing the vetting, it would have adverse effect on the case before the court, especially so when my Lord Bafubwani was the one to ensure the empaneling. But our friends said no.
Honorable Minority Leader, please let me listen to the first Deputy Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, is he on a point of order?
I don't know. So let's listen to him.
Mr. Speaker,
let's listen to him first.
Right, Honorable Speaker. Before delivering my ruling, based on the fact that Honorable Eko Asafua has taken the matter before the Supreme Court, I was furnished with a copy of the court process. In the case of Tokonu that he's referring to before the vetting committee, I have no process of the court before me, attesting to the fact that this matter is pending before court. So the two issues are quite different. I made my ruling based on the fact that in raising the objection, the process of the court was finished. And you look at the relief being sought at the Supreme Court, there is no way by which those actions will be pending, those reliefs will be pending before the Supreme Court, yet Parliament will be delving into the matter. So I use the principle of sub judice to make my ruling. And Mr. Speaker, we are speaking in public. We do not uphold grounds of appeal. You uphold appeal or you dismiss the appeal. So there is nothing like upholding grounds of appeal. Mr. Speaker, I base my ruling on the process that was put before me.
Honorable members, please, let's go back and refresh our memories. And when you get the facts right, this House is always there for you. We can come back to discuss this matter. In the meantime, we have to proceed on the business of the day. Because you are raising so many things and now beclouding the initial issue that was raised, and I gave the directive. So let's refresh our memory, because it's been a long time and I think that some of you are not getting the facts right. The public, they are listening to us and they are getting more confused. I'm getting confused myself. And so I have to go and read the Hansard, because many of you are not fond of speaking the truth. Well, one of the things I hate in life is to tell lies. I'm being truthful and factual. We can audit the Hansard. And you see that I'm on all fours on this matter. Please. When they want to raise the issue, you say, oh, it's politics. I see politics is about speaking on truths. So please, let's go and refresh our memory on this matter. In the meantime, the business statement as presented is adopted. We have before us some students from some educational institutions visiting us, I believe, for the first time. We have students from the University of Cape Coast. These are students studying international relations, and they are being led by one of their lecturers by name Dr. Solomon Sika Bright. Sika, am I right? Is it Sika? Sika, I think, is about money. And then he's bright. They definitely are coming from Cape Coast North, and there are 66 in number. Honorable members, you can see them just directly opposite me at the public. Minority Leader, I think Winneba is closer to Cape Coast. You don't want to acknowledge the presence of students from the university. Please, on your behalf, I want to welcome them and wish them a fruitful visit to the house. We have our staff that are ready to take you through some of the preliminaries of parliamentary work. So you are welcome, particularly the fact that you are studying international relations. We have a department now having international relations and parliamentary diplomacy. Maybe you may ask and get some guidance from them as to what we do in that direction. Please, you may resume your seats. We have also students from SDA Senior High School. There are 64 in number coming from Sunyani East constituency, and they are led by the senior house master, Mr. Abraham Owusu. Please, you are also warmly welcome, and take time to learn a few things before you go back. Sunyani is quite far, and make use of your presence here so that the investment that is made in bringing you here will not go to waste. You are welcome. Honorable members, let's move on to the next item. And I want to welcome you before I can open the floodgates for you to have these harmonious exchanges. And so I'll read a short statement to welcome all of you to this meeting. Honorable members, I warmly welcome you to the first meeting of the second session of the 9th Parliament of the 4th Republic of Ghana, which formally commences today, Tuesday, 3rd February 2026, and scheduled to recess on the 27th of March 2026. The House, and indeed the nation, remains deeply grateful to Almighty God for the guidance, protection, and special grace He bestowed upon us. It is God and nothing else that enabled us to successfully conclude the first session of the 9th Parliament. By His providence, we are gathered here today, 1 year into the life
record that pushed this nation to the edge. You cannot rewrite recent history, and you cannot rebrand responsibility away. Ghanaians will judge not by new faces or fine words, but by lived experience, credibility, and results. And they lived the experience of Bawumia as a vice president, and the credibility of MPP under Bawumia, and the results of the Bawumia economic management. Right, Honorable Speaker, the foundations of recovery have been laid. The responsibility before us now is to consolidate these gains and accelerate Ghana's journey towards sustainable growth and shared prosperity. We will be considering the following sector-related legislation. We will continue with the Ghana Cocoa Board Amendment Bill, the Ghana Investment Promotion Authority Bill, the Ghana Deposit Protection Amendment Bill will all be taken. Mr. Speaker, the Exemptions Amendment Bill will also be taken. There will be an Income Tax Amendment Bill. Then there will be Extractive Industries Fiscal Reforms Bill. We will have a rent bill coming from the Ministry of Works and Housing. And then there are riparian buffer zones regulations. Mr. Speaker, we will also have legislation from the Ministry of Education to deal with the College of Education, and then also to establish the Ghana Book Development Council. Mr. Speaker, we also will have the Environmental Protection Carbon Market Regulations 2026, the Basic Ionizing Radiation Control Regulations, the Integrated Management Systems Regulations, the Emergency Preparedness and Response Regulations, the Design of Nuclear Installation Regulations, the Review and Amendment of the Biosafety Act. Mr. Speaker, the Energy Ministry will bring new legislative proposals for the Nuclear Power Corporation, that's the Nuclear Power Corporation Bill, the Renewable Energy Authority Bill, and then the Transport Minister will also bring the Road Traffic Amendment Regulations to deal with the issues of discipline among Okada riders. The NPA Act is also going to be revised. There will be a legislation on Ghana Banking Services Agency Bill. Mr. Speaker, we will also have a new comprehensive revision of our minerals and mining legislation in the form of a new minerals and mining bill. The Ghana Geological Survey Authority regulations will come. The minerals and mining regulations will also come. The Wildlife Resources Mining Regulations, the Survey Council Bill will all be presented to us. The Energy Ministry has a lot, including renegotiated power purchase agreements that will be brought to us for us to consider, and other major projects in the sector that we will be required to approve as Parliament. Mr. Speaker, the local government will also bring
a very beautiful, hard-working daughter. And I kept talking about my son. Mr. Speaker, that both kids were pursuing a medical program, and the same prestigious university had admitted them for their medical education. As if coincidence, because he would come to me and say, "Oh, leader, your daughter wants to do medicine. She passed the IB." And I say, "Oh, your son also made it. We are trying to get admission for him, and he's gone through the interview." It was only, Mr. Speaker, when we traveled out of town, we met, and here we were. The kids have met the same university doing medicine. So if I'm unable to visit and Hajia gets there, Hajia will take care of my son and take care of their daughter, and vice versa. I knew my brother was a bit under the weather, but I wasn't expecting that the Lord Almighty would summon him so soon. The Speaker, before we rose, in fact, even on that day, he was with me. We spoke at length. When the kids came for vacation, we were supposed to meet. The understanding was that we were going to meet. and have a joint family meeting for the Christmas because all the kids were back from school. Then that unfortunate morning, the text message came from Hajia that, leader, your brother is gone. How? Very sad. The Speaker, I've never been to a cemetery since I became an adult, but I said on this occasion, he is a true brother. And for me, there's nothing like friendship. You must honor it to the casket, even at the peril of your life. Friendship, a true friend, is difficult to find. So, Mr. Speaker, I went to the Medina Cemetery where my brother had been brought for final rites, and I made sure I touched him and helped lower him into his grave with honor. Let me thank the family members for allowing me the opportunity to be part of that last rite of honor. I felt satisfied because he was a true brother who shared with me the relevant code of life. The Speaker, that said, I would want to urge all of us, the work we do in this chamber is very demanding. Let's find time to do our checkups. Let's find time to exercise. Don't let us underestimate the work we do. Mr. Speaker, 2 years or so ago, I was part of colleagues who went for a training program in the United States, met some senators. And when we shared experiences, we realized that those of us from this part of the world take political leadership for granted. One senator said he had a psychic advisor, had a psychiatrist, had a communication director, has a sports whatever, etc. All these are specialists that he pays them to assist him because the workload is not easy. Your mental health. Constituents are coming to you for money. Constituents are coming to you for everything. You need to prepare yourself for this chamber. Sometimes the money is not even there. Mr. Speaker, there have been times that I had gone to Winneba, shared money, and on my way back, my driver had told me that, Chief, fuel no akofum, also red. Not once, not twice, several, that I did not have money at the time. Mr. Speaker, there are a lot of sad stories that my colleagues here know we go through. So I will beg of all of us, we have a family to live for. Let us not assume that this political engagement is trivial. It is not. Don't let us take it for granted. Let's look at all areas and take care of them so that we'll be effective in this chamber. Because the law is clear, very mandatory. If you are not there, they say 30 days. People will be fighting for your seat in primaries and all. So, Mr. Speaker, that said, may the gentle soul of our brother rest in perfect peace. He was such a great soul, very loving, caring, affable, easy of address, courteous in manners, and able to accommodate friends on all sides. And I loved the friendship we struck. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this gracious opportunity.
Thank you, Honorable Minority. I will then give the floor to Deputy Minister for Lands, Elijah Sule.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I'm grateful for this opportunity. Let me first of all thank the Deputy Minister for Tourism, who read this very important tribute. And let me also thank my senior colleagues who have already said very good things about our brother, Honorable Alhaji Naza Ture Mahama. Indeed, for me as a Muslim, I want to bear witness to the good things that he's done as a Muslim. I am the chairman of the Muslim caucus, and so it is imperative for me to bear witness to what he's done as a Muslim. But before I continue, I want to make reference to the Holy Quran, chapter 2, verse 155 to 156, which says that وَاللَّهُ يَبْلُغُ مِنْ شَيْءٍ مِنَ الْأَلْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَالنَّكْسِ مِنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنْفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ الَّذِينَ إِذَا حَصَبَتْهُم مُّصِيبَةٌ قَالُوا إِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. To it, and we certainly shall test you with anger, with loss of fruits, with loss of lives, and with loss of so many things. But we expect that you should endure when we test you if you are a Muslim. And you should also know that it is from we, or from me, Allah, that you have come from, and it is to me that you will return. Again, the Quran says that every soul shall taste death. And so we were not surprised when our brother had to leave. Because as Muslims, we were very certain that one day he will return to his Creator. And it's just for us all to know that when death is coming, it will not announce its arrival. And so for us as Muslims, we know it can come at any time. And if it has come and is gone, we can only praise Allah for giving him to us and for making him use his life to serve his people the way he did. Right, Honorable Speaker, I said to myself and to all of us that I am here to bear witness to what he's done as a Muslim. I can testify that Honorable Niger has fulfilled all the 5 pillars of Islam. He has said what we call the kalima, believing that there's none to worship but Allah, and that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his messenger. He has done that several times, and I can bear witness to that. I can also bear witness to the fact that he was always with us in the mosque every Friday to pray. Sometimes by the time you get there, he's already seated there. Sometimes when you are leaving, he was just seated there supplicating. And so we want to bear witness that he fulfilled that other pillar of Islam. Again, when it comes to the payment of what we call zakat, we can also bear witness that he has fulfilled that pillar. Right, Honorable Speaker, when it comes to the performance of Hajj, he has also performed Hajj several times. And I remember last year or so, I was on the same flight with him going to Mecca to perform Umrah. It was only when we got to Medina that he wasn't feeling well. He had to return back to this country. It tells you how committed he was to his religion, how committed he was to serve Allah. That even when he was not well, he was still going to Mecca to go and worship his Creator. And that is the kind of person we're talking about. And so for me, inshallah, our colleague should be in paradise. Inshallah. Again, his contribution to the Muslim caucus. He served on several committees at that level. Anytime there was a meeting, Honorable Niger was always there, and he contributed immensely to our discussions. There were very sensitive issues that came up at our meetings, and my colleagues here will bear me witness how calm he was in addressing those issues. And so, today, if we have lost him, we can only praise Allah, because we did nothing and he was given to us. and we did nothing, and God has taken him. We need to praise God, and I can assure you that it is a place all of us will go. It was his time to go, and he's gone. We pray that the good Lord will have mercy on him and grant him Jannatul Firdaus. We want to also share our condolences with the wife, the children, and the family, and to say that God will replace him in a manner that they will be okay. With these few words, once again, I want to thank my uncle, Honorable Yusuf Jaja. I want to thank my senior colleagues who have shared their experiences with our brother who today as we speak, inshallah, is resting with his creator. Thank you.
Thank you. It's now the turn of Honorable Matthew Nyindam.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to also pay tribute to my good friend, Alhaji Nasser. Mr. Speaker, myself and Alhaji came to the chamber the same day. And when we all walked in, I didn't know him. So when they mentioned that he's the MP for Kwanda, he walked to me and told me that I was his MP and told me his roots in Kwanda. And then it was the conflict, the 1992 conflict, that brought him back to Accra. And since then, he's never gone back to Kwanda. Mr. Speaker, from that day, Alhaji took me as a brother. Anytime we met at the coffee shop, he spoke to me as a brother. Mr. Speaker, although we are all politicians and we all belong to political parties, Alhaji was not that excessively partisan. He took everybody as a brother. He's not the loud type. Alhaji will not speak much, but Alhaji made a lot of wisdom. He's very calm, very gentle, very affable. Mr. Speaker, after death, just like we all will say, it is a journey we all embark on. But after you are no more, what will people say about you is so important. I pray, and I'm with the family. Mr. Speaker, when I heard that Alhaji was no more, I wished I had the opportunity to accompany Alhaji to his resting place. But unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, I was in crisis. So there was no way I could avail myself to accompany Alhaji. Mr. Speaker, there is this belief in Islam that when they are going to the cemetery, as many as you can, you accompany the dead body to the cemetery. And it's something I appreciate a lot. I appreciate a lot. Although Alhaji is not with us, I don't know the family personally. I wish and pray that the good Lord will be with them, and may the good Lord give him a perfect rest, and may his soul rest in perfect peace. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Yes, Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm not adding my voice to the tribute that being said here. I think when we went to conclave, we were very clear on what we were the items that we were taking up. The admission of this statement wasn't part of it, but I think what we know, I was there throughout. I think we're staying far too long in the day. So I want to agree with you. I've also seen an admittance of a report over here. If I rise up to talk about an issue of this nature, I was out there at the people taking their blood pressure and observing what is happening there. I would like to plead with you that we try and then wrap up and not have people rest for the day. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Leader, the time for sitting is 5 hours. Have we exceeded the 5 hours?
Speaker, indeed we haven't. But Speaker, let the record reflect that it was agreed that we'll take this statement because it was about a colleague.
Well, it's not a matter of agreeing to take the statement because a colleague or not. Our standing orders are clear that sitting hours is 5 hours.
We haven't exceeded.
So it is only when we exceed the 5 hours that we can talk about extension of the sitting. But today we started after 2 o'clock or getting to 3 o'clock. So, Honorable Deputy Leader, we are still within the prescribed 5 hours of sitting. We have not exceeded it. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well guided.
Yes.
But I would like to also remind ourselves that when we agree to do business of the day to a certain point, we should try and adhere to it. Thank you.
Yes. This takes me to Order 55.3, which reads, a sitting of the House shall ordinarily be for 5 hours. We can all look at it. So if at pre-sitting you've agreed on something else, we are masters of our own rules. Majority Leader, what is the agreement at pre-sitting? Majority Leader, has there been a decision at pre-sitting that will sit below the 5 hours as prescribed by Order 55.3?
No, Mr. Speaker. You agreed at pre-sitting. Who and who were there at pre-sitting? No. I wasn't there, so I'm not bound by any decision that was taken. No, but why do you want to leave early? This is the first day. You've been on recess for a very long time now. You've been resting throughout. The first day you come and you are eager to leave. Or you spend your time campaigning, engaging in presidential primaries. You should have known that there's parliament also.
Well, honourable members, let's conclude it by taking
comments. Yeah.
Honourable
Two more comments. Yeah.
Hajia Ladi Ayamba.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the previous statement ably made by my colleague, Honorable Jaja. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Alaji Nazar Ture was one of the individuals whom one can refer to and reflect about when it comes to his gentility. This is a man who spoke very gently, and it's one of the observations I had made about him. What he will simply tell me, if even we met, was, Ajia, Yade, Ajia, how are you? Honorable Nazar Ture was always present, basically at all our committee meetings on roads and transport. Mr. Speaker, I recall during one of our fasting seasons, we were in the chamber here and it was very late. All of us as Muslims wanted to just leave and go to break our fast. When we went to the coffee shop to get some water, he said, Ajia, Gira, I'm atanaza takawa binchi. To wait, Ajia, please wait. my wife is going to bring some food. And we were surprised. More than enough was given. She brought the food, we sat together, and it was so nice. Honorable Nazar Toure never ever raised his voice and will ensure that he speaks calmly no matter what was being discussed. It has been said, and as my colleagues have mentioned, I haven't been to an Arabic school. I am a sound Muslim, although, and I believe that there is a time and season for everything. So is it that with life, much as we do not know when it was given, and we believe that at the time the Almighty Allah made that seed to be planted, you didn't know, and nobody has ever known. He and He alone, the Almighty Allah, has also stated clearly, Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. From Him, each and every one of us have come from, and to Him we shall return. There is no time, there is no day, there is no place, there is no circumstance that is known by any individual as to how, when, where you will pass. You owe death if you do not owe anybody. And each and every one of us must be ready. For that matter, it is a lesson for all of us. And all that I can say is that let us believe that as we hear, as we see, as we observe, others pass. So is it incumbent on us that one day, no matter what, whether you are ready or not, you will also pass. The only prayer we have is that all the good things that we do on earth should follow us into our final resting places. So is it that I pray that the Almighty Allah grants our brother, Honorable Nazar Toure, Jannatul Firdaus, and that He should also grant us living, long life, and prosperity, and that one day, when it is our turn, we shall also go in peace. My condolences to his wife, the family, and each and every one. Now, thank you for the statement and for listening to me. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Niashi Kote. And then I'll come to leadership.
Thank you. I want to take the opportunity to thank my big brother, the Honorable Deputy Minister, Honorable Jaja, for the statement made. And I also want to add my voice to say that may the soul of Honorable Nazar Toure Mahama rest well in the bosom of Allah. As I entered Parliament, I remember how he met me, stretched forth his arms and welcomed me and said, "Gentlemen, you are welcome to Parliament." He shared how it was here. affectionate. When I became a member of the leadership of the Greater Accra MP's caucus, I will confer with him. He will share with me and guide me as to the way to go. The news, obviously, of his death became shocking to all of us. I recall when the call came, I said, no, it can't be true. Then I started calling honorable colleagues. When it was confirmed, in fact, I became, for want of a better word, disabled. I couldn't move, I couldn't think. We have lost a great leader. We have lost a calm but a gentleman. We have lost a man with a wealth of knowledge and experience, just as have been praised. We take solace in the fact that his legacy will speak well of him. I wish the family, especially the wife and daughter, my deepest condolences. And on behalf of the Greater Accra MP's caucus, we say, Inshallah, he should indeed be in paradise. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Minister for.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I also rise to contribute to the statements and to say that this man who lived and died as a great man. In Shakespeare, a character said, all the world is a stage, and all the men and women merely players. But a man in his life plays many parts. And in the life of Honorable Mahama Toure, he played many parts. He played several parts out of the country. It dawned on him to come to Ghana, and he came to Ghana. Contributed his quota, represented his people, committed himself to their service and to God's service. The Speaker, I interacted with him several, and especially when we served in the same committee. And as a member of the Energy Committee at the time, we worked very closely together. He is not a man who talked much, but he's a man who taught much. And in his personal life, he did so much that I believe his family would lose him a lot. And I wish to first of all extend my deepest condolences to his wife and kids for everything he represented in their lives and for the huge loss in their lives. Mr. Speaker, one thing I learned from him is that no matter who you are, continue to be humble. I have a symbolic representation in that aspect in my own life. But in the life of Mohamed Toure, he showed that in his wealth, he was still himself. In his endeavor as a politician, he was still himself. He lived a life that a man who rises to see what he has done can only salute him. And in this contribution, I want to wish him well in the sight of Allah. I know that by what he represented, by everything he did it because he thought that one day he would no longer be on earth here. And this has taught us a lesson. And I believe we all have to learn that lesson. We've heard about great men who have passed on. One of the greatest who passed on was Alexander the Great, a man who ruled almost all the world, and before he got to 40 years, he died. And so his death is another reminder that as we all are here, we are marching towards one simple destination, a destination when we will be oblivious of this world, we will die, and our deaths will be forgotten by a future generation. It tells us that what will be left is the deeds we would have performed. And this man performed so much that in every member of his constituency you met would still tell you they wanted him to contest the elections. I've interacted with several of them during the funeral, and they regretted that he died so soon. And so, Mr. Speaker, let me extend my condolences to all of them, the constituents, his father, his wife, his kids, and everybody who thinks so much about him and who has been touched by his exit of this world. May his great soul rest in perfect peace. Amen.
Yes, minority leadership. Well, I'll turn to in the absence of any further contribution from the minority side, I'll give the floor to Honorable Doyo, being that of the majority leadership.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. I would like to thank Honorable Jaja, the Deputy Minister of Tourism, for this statement. Mr. Speaker, it is with deep sadness that we say goodbye to a wonderful colleague and friend, late Honorable Nassar Turi. Mr. Speaker, in 2013, we were ushered in as new MPs, and in Greater Accra, we were 5. Honorable Neil Ante van der Poy, Honorable Christian Otute, Honorable Emmanuel Ashimo, Honorable Nassar Turi, and myself. Mr. Speaker, we grew ourselves together as sisters, brothers, and colleagues, and we have worked together. Along the line, 3 were out, and I was left with Honorable Nassar. And recently, in this 8th Parliament, he became our caucus chairman. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Nassar, as a caucus chairman, was so wonderful. His dedication, kindness, and humor, Mr. Speaker, you can't take it away from him. He brought some calmness in the caucus. Anytime he's available, you see that the place is different because he's a different person altogether. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Nassar, little did I know he will pass away. We were here before we went on recess. And before then, I could remember when he wanted to be the chairman of the Energy Committee and he couldn't get it. And we said, oh, you will get a board, so it shouldn't be a big deal. So no problem. But Honorable Doyo, I would like that board to go to my spouse, which is my wife. And I said, why? You are the MP. He said, no, I want everything to go to her so that she can take good care of the children. But he didn't add when I'm no more. And I didn't know he was even going to pass. Mr. Speaker, in fact, I received the news with shock. That day, I started running because he was somebody who I can call a brother, a friend, a father, and anytime, any day, anything he will consult me, leader, what do you think? I also consult him as a caucus chairman, what do you think? And we'll work together, do everything together. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Jaja has left a huge vacuum when it comes to unity and work. Honorable Nassar, sorry. No. Honorable Nassar, because they have been friends, so don't worry. Honorable Nassar have left a huge vacuum. Honorable Nazar has left a huge vacuum. Mr. Speaker, I will take the opportunity to console the wife, the family, and the children. I now understand why he keeps telling me that if anything, push it to my wife. And now understand why he keeps telling me that if anything, push it to my wife. He said a board member, push it to my wife. And I said, why? He said, no, just give it to my wife. Not knowing he knows what is going to happen. And I think now he will be resting in the bosom of the Lord. And I wish the wife and the children well, the family and NDC in Ayawaso is well, and God should console all of us. Yes, that's what he said, that we should give everything to the wife. So today, as we are here paying tribute to him, we will visit the wife as a caucus and then console the wife. Greater Accra Caucus, we will visit the wife and console the wife. He died when we were on recess, so we couldn't do the needful. So now before we go to the house and do the needful, so Ayawaso East Constituency executives will fix a time and a date and meet all of them as a caucus and console all of them. So may his soul rest in perfect peace. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, that brings us to the end of the statement. Statement time has ended. Yes, majority leader.
Mr. Speaker, I want to crave your indulgence so that we'll take motion number 12. That's the Legal Education Reform Bill, the second reading of the bill. The report of the committee is ready. So if we could just take that one and then call it a day. It's the only substantive government business that would have been taken today. The chairman of the committee is here, then the minister.
Honourable Majority Leader, have you looked at the item numbered 9B?
19.
9B.
9B. Are laid?
Yes.
Are they ready?
It has not been laid, so the second reading is not due.
Okay. 9B, yes, Mr. Speaker. So we'll lay it.
Honourable members, minority side.
Yes, Speaker, we are not opposed to it today.
Honourable members, at commencement of public business, item numbered 9B. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I think earlier on the Right Honourable Speaker had indicated that we would wait and after a statement is made in honor of our colleague, then we'll request for a 1-minute silence.
Very well.
So if we could do that.
Thank you very much for that reminder. Honourable members, they will be on our feet to observe 1-minute silence. Honourable members, may his gentle soul rest in the bosom of the Almighty Allah. At commencement of public business, item number 9B, Chairman of the committee.
Reports of the Committee on Constitutional and Legal Affairs on the Legal Education Reform Bill 2025.
Honourable members, the report of the committee has been duly presented and it is now for distribution to honourable members. Yes, Majority Leader. Majority Leader, in the circumstances.
Speaker, I did not hear you.
Yes.
I'm saying, so we can now take 12.
Honourable members.
11, and then after that, 12. So the AG is here, the Minister for Justice is here to assist us with 11.
Yes, Honorable Jerry Ahmed Shaib.
Yes, Speaker, we are not opposed to it.
Honourable members, item numbered 11, Attorney General and Minister for Justice.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I beg to move that notwithstanding the provision in Order 1041 of the Standing Orders, which requires that a motion shall not be debated until at least 2 sitting days have elapsed after the notice to move the motion is given, the motion for the second reading of the Legal Education Reform Bill 2025 be now moved today. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, motion ably moved. Any seconder?
Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion.
Honourable members, this is a procedural motion. It is for the consideration of the House. Honourable members, I'll put a question. As many as are in favor of the motion numbered 11 at page 3 of today's order paper say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The motion is carried. Now the substantive motion numbered 12, standing in the name of the Attorney General and Minister for Justice. You have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, we will now take motion number 12.
Yes, that is why I said the substantive motion standing in the name of the Attorney General and Minister for Justice. So I'm giving the floor to the Attorney General and Minister for Justice. Yes?
I was just wondering if the chair has indicated this to the ranking, whether, because I'm sure he would have loved to contribute on this very important motion. I don't know if he's aware, because I mean, this obviously came at our blind side, but we also do not want to drag. So my only wish is that if we could just engage and perhaps have it scheduled for tomorrow. It's just tomorrow, so that you would have your members, committee members, also debate on it. That's just my objective view. But if you think differently, that's okay.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, at business committee meeting, I did indicate strongly that today we will take the Legal Education Reform Bill and the report, and my counterpart agreed that we should go ahead. Everybody, including the chief whip, everybody was there. They agreed that we should go ahead. Yes, and the ranking was here. I even spoke with him in one of the corridors earlier on. So we need to move fast. This is really the problem, that we come and then we treat business, and then in the end we'll keep deferring, postponing, and then in the end you know, the day we are going to ride, then we'll be forcing people to stay here till midnight. I don't want to. In fact, in the opening statement, we indicated that we're not going to adopt that approach. We're going to treat government business with dispatch. So, Mr. Speaker, I think we can take the second reading and then the committee's report, so that later on, when we come to the consideration stage, we can mobilize all the members. I plead with you, let us take it.
Yes. Mr. Speaker, I have indicated my difficulty, but as you can see, they have the numbers, so if they still want to proceed, there is no objection on this matter. I thought that for purposes of communality and progress, we should also be thinking of all of this. If the ranking were to be around, I would have even felt more comfortable, because this is legal education, and he's a lawyer, you're a lawyer. The majority leader is a lawyer, the chief whip is a lawyer. This is about only an hour ago. I only cited this an hour ago, and we've even elapsed to say that we are not going to take it for the number of days it was supposed to be. But if you do not want us to, yes, I agree. We looked at item number 11, so we have considered that it should be elapsed, the time should be elapsed. But if time has been elapsed and we still want to proceed, it's okay. I mean, like I said, the normal thing is that you engage your ranking. But if you can say on record that you have engaged your ranking, that is okay.
Yes, Attorney General and Minister for Justice.
Right Honorable Speaker, I move that the Legal Education Reform Bill 2025 be now read the second time. I so move.
Honourable members, motion moved. I will call on the chairman of the committee to present the committee's report.
Exceedingly grateful, Right Honourable Speaker. I rise to second the motion. And
second which motion? I call on you to present the committee's report.
Mr. Speaker,
motion for second.
I'm presenting the report, and I shall be very brief on this report. Mr. Speaker, your good self asked this committee, in accordance with Article 106.4 of the Constitution and Order 238 of the Standing Orders of Parliament, you refer the bill to this, your Committee on Constitutional and Legal Affairs. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Minister for Justice and Attorney General, the Honorable Dominic Akuritinga Ayeni, on Friday, 24th of October, laid this report. Speaker, your committee deliberated on it. We invited a number of people, including institutions. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, the heads of various faculties of law in all the universities and training institutions of this country were present to deliberate on this. Mr. Speaker, let me encourage the Hansard Department to capture the entire report while I look at the critical areas. Legal education.
Honorable Chairman, the critical areas has been captured. In conclusion.
Mr. Speaker, critical areas captured.
Hansard has captured everything. You said the Hansard to capture everything. Just proceed to conclude.
Mr. Speaker, may I conclude by saying that the committee, having examined and satisfied itself with the fact that access to legal education has been restricted for the past many years. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, many years ago, You walked into the law school from faculty. Times have changed. There's a pinhole now where people get in and cannot come out. Mr. Speaker, this bill seeks to open up legal education. Speaker, we recommend the passage of Legal Education Reform Bill 2025, subject to the proposed amendments. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, the motion has been moved. The chairman of the committee has also presented the committee's report. Pursuant to Standing Order 1 through 7, a full debate shall arise on the principles of the bill on the basis of the explanatory memorandum and the report of the committee. Honourable members, accordingly, the floor is now open. Yes, Honourable Emmanuel Kwesi Bajra, MP for Ho West.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to also support the motion and also support this report. The principle behind the creation of the Legal Education Bill 2025. Mr. Speaker, for those of us who are not non-lawyers, who are desirous to become lawyers, Mr. Speaker, have this fear that after you've done even your PhD, you have to go back to the university to do your first degree, 3 years in law, after which you'll be admitted at Mokola, the so-called Mokola School of Law. And even that one, it is tedious. And so, majority of us who want to be lawyers are not able to penetrate into that legal environment, all because some group of people thinks that this is the preserve of some perceived people, and that if you do not belong to that group, you can never become lawyers. Mr. Speaker, for me, the report, the object of this bill states clearly, Mr. Speaker, if you permit me, paragraph 5, the object of the bill is to establish the Council for Legal Education and Training to regulate professional legal education in Ghana and provide a curriculum and standard for legal education. To achieve this objective, the bill proposed to move professional legal education and training from Ghana School of Law, known as Mokola, to accredited universities. It introduced law practice training to be offered by accredited universities. Mr. Speaker, this is a novel. It's a novel because, for me as a quantity surveyor, you are trained either at the technical universities, any of the technical universities, in a specified field, and then you write your professional exam. It is only in legal education that you have to go to Mokola, and if you don't qualify to go to Mokola, you cannot become a lawyer. What is this? And you have to be the
In 1965, Ghana chose her own value. From cowries and pounds, the city was born, our pride in our own hands. It flowed through markets, palms, and memories, and became part of daily life. Through every season of change, the city has remained a constant in Ghanaian life. In 2007, we took a bold step, ushering in a new era of confidence and stability. Today, the city lives in banks, markets, and apps, rooted in tradition, shaped by history, carried by innovation. 60 years on, it remains our heritage, our identity, our pride. Know the city. Keep it clean.
China's role as a leading financier to developing nations has shifted over the past decade, with new loans to poorer countries falling sharply while debt repayments continue to rise, according to analysis released by One Data. The inaugural report by One Data initiative found that many low and middle-income countries, particularly in Africa, are now transferring more funds to China in debt payments than they receive in fresh financing from the world's second-largest economy. The swing has coincided with a surge in net financing from multilateral institutions, which have become the main source of development finance globally once debt service outflows are taken into account. Multilateral lenders increased net financing by 124% over the past decade and now provide 56% of net flows, equivalent to $379 billion between 2020 and 2024, the analysis found. In 2020 to 2024, the most recent period for which data is available, Africa saw the largest impact with an inflow of $30 billion in 2015 to 2019, turning to an outflow of $22 billion. The data does not include cuts that took effect in 2025. The closure of the U.S. Agency for International Development last year and a drop in allocations from other developed countries has already hit developing economies, especially in Africa. The report also highlighted a broader decline in bilateral finance flows and private external debt, also trends likely to be exacerbated by aid cuts from 2025 onwards. Meanwhile, a separate piece China's role as a leading financier to developing nations has shifted over the past decade, with new loans to poorer countries falling sharply while debt repayments continue to rise, according to analysis released by One Data. The inaugural report by One Data initiative found that many low and middle-income countries, particularly in Africa, are now transferring more funds to China in debt payments than they receive in fresh financing from the world's second-largest economy. The swing has coincided with a surge in net financing from multilateral institutions, which have become the main source of development finance globally once debt service outflows are taken into account. Multilateral lenders increased net financing by 124% over the past decade and now provide 56% of net flows, equivalent to $379 billion between 2020 and 2024, the analysis found. In 2020 to 2024, the most recent period for which data is available, Africa saw the largest impact with an inflow of $30 billion in 2015 to 2019, turning to an outflow of $22 billion. The data does not include cuts that took effect in 2025. The closure of the U.S. Agency for International Development last year and a drop in allocations from other developed countries has already hit developing economies, especially in Africa. The report also highlighted a broader decline in bilateral finance flows and private external debt, also trends likely to be exacerbated by aid cuts from 2025 onwards. Meanwhile, a separate piece of research suggests China's overseas deal-making activity rebounded in 2025, according to a report published by the Griffith Asia Institute. The study found that deals for China's Belt and Road Initiative BRI reached a record levels of $213.5 billion last year, including $128.4 billion in construction contracts and $85.2 billion in investment, with Africa emerging as the largest recipient. China's BRI, sometimes referred to as the New Silk Road, was launched in 2013 by President Xi Jinping and is considered one of the most ambitious infrastructure projects globally. Initially aimed at linking East Asia and Europe through physical infrastructure, the initiative has since expanded to regions including Africa, Oceania, and Latin America, extending Beijing's economic and political influence over the past decade.
Sudan's army says it has broken a long siege of the southern city of Al-Dalanj by RSF paramilitary forces, during which survivors said many people were killed in drone and artillery strikes as hunger spread and medicines become scarce. One survivor said residents had been reduced to eating leaves and animal skin, and that some children had died of hunger. Others said people had died because they could not get the medicines they needed or leave to get treatment. The siege of Al-Dalanj began soon after war broke out in April 2023 between the army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces (RSF). It intensified after the RSF joined forces last year with the SPLMN, a rebel group that controls territory in the region. In a statement released late on Monday, the Sudanese army said the armed forces and supporting forces were able to forcibly and decisively open the road to Al-Dalanj after carrying out a successful military operation. The RSF did not respond to a request for comment on the army statement. Residents of Al-Dalanj reported heavy drone attacks on Tuesday. The victory, if sustained, could signal a momentum shift after several RSF gains late last year. Al-Dalanj is one of the largest cities in oil-producing South Kordofan province on Sudan's southern border. Greater Kordofan has become the latest center of fighting since the RSF captured Al-Fashir, the army's last holdouts in the western Darfur region, in October. More than 2,500 people have been displaced from South Kordofan since then, according to the UN's Human Rights Office. During a visit to Sudan last week, the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights warned Sudanese and RSF officials to ensure that crimes committed during and after the takeover of Al-Fashir are not repeated in South Kordofan. Residents who fled Al-Dalanj before Monday described witnessing drone and artillery attacks, echoing accounts from Al-Fashir during the RSF siege. Their accounts could not be immediately confirmed.
The Rwandan government is claiming it is owed £100 million by the UK over payments due under an asylum agreement cancelled by Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer. Rwanda has filed an international arbitration case arguing the UK has breached the terms of the deal to send some asylum seekers to the East African nation. Under the deal, which was signed by the previous Conservative government, the UK agreed to make payments to Rwanda to host asylum seekers who had arrived illegally in Britain. In a statement, Rwanda's government said it had decided to pursue claims in arbitration after facing the UK's intransigence on these issues. A Home Office spokesperson said the previous government's Rwanda policy wasted vast sums of taxpayer time and money. The Rwandan government statement said it was making 3 claims in relation to the Migration and Economic Development Partnership, which was signed in 2022 when Boris Johnson was Prime Minister. The statement accuses the UK of breaching the deal by setting out the financial terms of the agreement publicly, failing to make payment totaling £100 million and refusing to make arrangements to resettle vulnerable refugees from Rwanda. As part of the partnership, the UK had agreed to resettle a small number of vulnerable refugees who were already being hosted in Rwanda and had not been sent there from Britain. In 2022, the Home Office said this was expected to amount to tens of cases involving people who have complex needs such as acute health problems. The previous Conservative government spent some £700 million on the Rwanda policy, which was intended to deter migrants from crossing the English Channel in small boats. Only 4 volunteers arrived in Rwanda when the deal was in force, and Sir Kiel said the plan was dead and buried shortly after Labour won the 2024 general election. The deal included a break clause which said each party may terminate this agreement by giving notice to the other party in writing.
The leader of a Kenyan court accused of encouraging his followers to starve themselves to death will be charged over a further 52 deaths at another village. Self-proclaimed Pastor Paul Mackenzie was arrested in 2023 after 429 bodies, including children, were dug up from mass graves in the remote Shakahola forest. He has been in custody since his arrest and has been accused of luring the latest victims to their deaths by writing notes from his prison cell. Mr. Mackenzie has pleaded not guilty to multiple counts of manslaughter. The Office of the Director of Public Prosecution said in a statement that it had received the go-ahead to formally charge Good News International Church leader Paul Ntenge Mackenzie and his co-accused over the deaths of 52 people at the Benzaro homestead in Cliffy County. Prosecutors say Mr. Mackenzie was reasonably suspected to have masterminded the incident and has used radical teachings and coordinated structures to lure victims to the remote village. They said investigations recovered handwritten notes from prison cells occupied by Mr. Mackenzie, allegedly detailing transactions conducted through mobile phones. The prosecutors said Mr. Mackenzie and others will be charged with various offenses including radicalization, facilitation of terrorist acts, and murder over the more recent killings, in addition to the initial charges related to the mass graves found in the forest of Shakahola. Last year, around 34 bodies and more than 100 body parts were discovered by investigators in Benzaro, around 30 kilometers from Shakahola along the Indian Ocean coast. This is what led to the latest charges. They came 2 weeks after one of his co-accused and the former head of security at Shakahola, Enos Amanya Ngala, pleaded guilty to charges related to the deaths of 191 children found in the original mass graves. Survivors say children were supposed to be the first to starve themselves, according to a macabre order drawn by Mr. Mackenzie. Women, men, and last of all, church leaders. Mr. Mackenzie set up his Good News International Church in 2003, but said he had closed it in 2019. He encouraged his followers to move to Shakahola Forest and prepare for the end of the world to meet Jesus. He preached that formal education was satanic and used to extort money. In 2017 and again in 2018, He was arrested for encouraging children not to go to school, as he claimed education was not recognized in the Bible. The authorities have faced
its bite, has also had its bites in the research agenda of His Excellency John Mahama. Mr. Speaker, the bill seeks to restore confidence by providing a clearer, more transparent and predictable statutory framework. Mr. Speaker, it establishes an examination board that does not have anything to do with political interference. In fact, the examination board, as the bill seeks to provide or has established, would ensure that there is transparency, will ensure that there is equality and equity, will ensure that any person who wishes to go through the legal education, legal practice education, to come out as a lawyer, comes out, without any fear or without any favor. And with this, I want to say that Ghana is blessed at this moment to have our Attorney General stand up boldly to say that this bill must come on. And I want to commend him again, commend the committee for the good work done, commend the institutions that have availed themselves for us to have this bill presented before this Honorable House. Mr. Speaker, I'm so grateful for this opportunity.
I will then give the floor to Honorable James Enu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. And Mr. Speaker, let me also add my voice to support the adoption of the report of the Committee on Constitutional and Legal Affairs on the Legal Education Bill 2025. Mr. Speaker, the current law that regulates legal education now is Act 32 of 1960. So right from the word go, you can easily see that the law has outlived its usefulness, looking at the fact that it's been on for the past about even more than 60 years. Mr. Speaker, two things are very striking. If you look at our illegal education now, we had challenges with access, and we also had challenges with quality. Now, one of the main purposes of this bill is to ensure that we are able to increase access and we are also able to improve quality. So the bill seeks to establish the Council for Legal Education and Training that will be responsible for legal training in the country. And I think this is a very, very good step because it takes over something similar to the American system. Because prior to this, we have a situation where power, when it comes to regulation of legal education and regulation of legal profession, was concentrated in the General Legal Council. But now we are going to break this monopoly of the General Legal Council to make sure that there is shared oversight responsibility. And Mr. Speaker, I think that this is a very good step. So I pray that the House adopts this report accordingly. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Minority Leadership.
Mr. Speaker, I would have wished to peruse today's report critically before making some comments. I think the legal education, there is the need for reforms, but there is also no need to rush the report like I indicated earlier. So I'd rather waive any commentaries on this. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Before coming to the leader, I want to give the floor to Honorable Vundi. It's not in the chamber. Yes, Honorable Roxanne Nelson. You are not on the list.
Yet, leadership, Mr. Speaker, before the minister comes in.
So you are speaking for leadership?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you said you would speak.
No.
Okay.
So the two of you.
Mr. Speaker, then I rise on my own merits.
I am inclined to decline.
Mr. Speaker, it's a special appeal.
You have the
Special
floor.
appeal. Special appeal.
You have the floor.
We'll take Jerry's time.
You have the floor. In view of the fact that Jerry decided not to come.
Great. Mr. Speaker, let me indicate that law is a tool for social engineering, and it's become important that we do this to respond to the current social concerns in the country. Speaker, for some time now, you and I will draw you into this. We waged this battle from our 2017-2018 when news filtered through that there were some issues within the admission protocols of the Ghana School of Law, to the extent that our committee, which were deputy ranking at the time and later ranking, had to be engaged. This matter came here. We made interventions. Eventually, we succeeded in taking interview out of the process, so that if you write the exams and you succeeded, then you could gain admission. But another troubling event occurred, that to the extent that persons who didn't even write the exams at all got admitted, so much so that the General Legal Council itself saw it fit to set up a subcommittee. The disciplinary committee had to set up a subcommittee to look into this matter, and a report was generated. It was established that as many as 11 students or more got in through the back door. That phrase was what was captured in the report. So it generated a lot of debates to ask for reforms. And the current Attorney General, then the ranking member, I believe, we even got together to do a private members bill in the 7th and 8th Parliament. We didn't succeed. But today I'm happy we are here. So it's important that we bring reforms, but we are not saying it is an easy route to freedom. No. The exams will still be tough, the exams will still be stiff, but we are opening access, we are increasing the access that persons can have the opportunity to sit for the national bar exams once you are adequately prepared by your various faculties. So, Speaker, this is a major policy decision by the government, and I'm happy that the House is prepared to move to, when we adopt the report by the committee, we'll do consideration, deal with the issues, the many amendments that have been proposed, we'll deal with them. And so that we can eventually take it through the third reading and have it passed. Speaker, what is important is that in terms of quality, the faculties and the various schools, as they want to be called these days, are being put on notice because the deans have been involved. That you must enhance your libraries, you must enhance your faculty members' qualifications and all that. All those criteria will be set by the law. So they've instituted processes to enable those who don't have those minimum requisite qualifications to quickly do so. So it's a major reform. And Speaker, you will be surprised to hear that some of the LLB holders that we produce here, who are denied by some limitations from gaining access to our only professional law school now, they travel to the Gambia, they top the class. Even if they don't top the class, they are among the upper quarter qualifying, picking the awards. They go to Rwanda, they pick awards. They go to Malawi, Botswana, because we are of the same common law jurisdiction. They do well. Sierra Leone, and now I'll leave that for my boss to comment on. You meet our students, and they are passing the bar in those jurisdictions with flying colors. The tragedy is that when you come back home, you cannot be entered onto the role of lawyers here, because you have to do what we call the post-call. The post-call is so expensive. And I don't know how come it's pegged at £6,000 for many years, but it's pegged at £6,000 equivalent in cedis. So you may take the opportunity to go and train in the law outside. When you get back home, it's expensive to really do the post-call. So it's become another avenue to sieving the ordinary person's opportunity from qualifying. So, Speaker, I won't say much, because the fights, the battles that we waged today, we are seeing is coming to fruition, and we are happy. So we want to say thank you to all the stakeholders, Speaker, including yourself. I know the things we went through, but we shepherd this, deal with amendments, and have it passed so that the reforms can be implemented. We are not saying it's a foolproof system, but it will come with some challenges. We'll have the opportunity to tidy them up as we implement the new reform legislation. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity, and this is well anchored in Article 25, Mr. Speaker, 25(1) D.E. thereabout of the Constitution. So it's well anchored in our constitutional provisions that we must create wider access, equitable access, equal opportunities for our educational opportunities that are available in this country. Speaker, with these words, I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Yes, Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Let me join colleagues to recommend to this House to adopt this report, because year after year, the issue of access to professional legal education has been a problem, a perennial problem. And this House received several petitions from association of students who had written the examination, who had failed to get into the law school, and who felt unfairly treated. And at that point, I recall that even the General Legal Counsel had to carry out some reforms in the examination process with a view to introducing some level of accountability, fairness, and justice in the process. But once it dealt with the issues of accountability in the writing of the exams, the marking of the scripts, and the determination of results, it did not deal fundamentally with the question of access. That question was a function of the structure of the system. When we were students, we got into the law faculty automatically, not automatically, we got into the law faculty after sixth form. And at that time, there was only one law faculty in the whole country, the law faculty of the University of Ghana. So all the sixth form schools in the country, after you wrote WAEC, A-level, the law faculty will take only 100 students. And it is the offered the LLB degree, the course. The rest will be BA students. They will be sent to all the other faculties, but they will be allowed to do certain courses like jurisprudence and etc. at the law faculty, which automatically enable them to go to the Makola, those days we call them law school.
Leader, yours is better. In our case, 150 students, and at the end of the first university examination, they will admit 60, 90 must find their way outside the law faculty.
So, at different stages, you will see that the mechanism for sieving took place at different levels. In the past, it was getting into the university itself. Once you got to the university law faculty and you managed to scale through first year, invariably, all those who scale through first year will end up at the Ghana School of Law. That was the practice. Then, later on, as we liberalized, private universities emerged, and they also started running law degree programs. And their products also wanted to go into Makola. And that is how, initially there was exams actually for mature students. Those who had degrees and were workers and wanted to go into Makola, yes, they wrote exams to come in. But then as the private universities started offering law degrees and there was pressure, that's how the system was open so that at least they could also participate in the exams in order to get into Makola Law School. And that is where we started having the problems. So what government has decided to propose to this house to consider is that since we have liberalized tertiary education and we have many private universities offering law degrees and they've been accredited to offer law degrees, then we cannot maintain a monopoly of the legal education program in the Ghana School of Law. We need to open up that monopoly. So all the other universities, if they meet the appropriate criteria and standards, they will also be accredited to run programs that will allow their products to automatically write the bar exams. So this is the greatest opportunity that could ever be offered. The only thing is that we must ensure that all those universities that offer law degrees maintain the requisite standards, because we don't also want in the process of liberalizing to allow standards to fall. So that is the major issue that in this legislation we must tighten to ensure that law faculties accredited to offer the program must maintain the standards. That way, every university that has a law faculty can have their products write the bar exams, and then if they pass, they will be called to the bar, enrolled. Let me indicate that we are not saying that many more people will pass the bar exams. And we're also not saying that it will lead to an automatic increase in the number of people to be enrolled every year. The only thing we are guaranteeing is that everybody who has a law degree from a university accredited to offer law will have an opportunity to also write the bar exams. That, I think, is what we are guaranteeing. The second issue of increasing the numbers is a function of the regulators. So we try as much as possible to look at how we can increase the numbers. If you look at the ratio of lawyers to the population, It is very, very, very high. In most jurisdictions, in America, in most European countries, in Canada, you have invariably a ratio of 1 lawyer to about 300 people. In most jurisdictions. Here, the reports I'm getting is an indication that it is 1 lawyer to 2,000. In fact, some say 5,000. Some say 5,000 to 7,000. But I've also seen statistics that place it at, 2,000. But if you look at all those who have graduated, we don't know how many who have passed on. But if you look at the roll, you may use that. But the question is whether they are actually in the country. So yes, your statistics may indicate that, if you look at all those who have been qualified and then you divide the population by that number, you may get 2,000. But the reality may be that there are many who are not in the jurisdiction. So the actual ratio could be the 5,000, 7,000 to a lawyer. And so we need to also increase the numbers so that district assemblies, companies, corporations, traditional authorities can all have access to lawyers, because in all these places where there is some administration of justice, what happens invariably is that the absence of lawyers tend to delay proceedings and speedy, trials. And so we need to increase the numbers. So I recommend to colleagues that we should approve and adopt this report. Later on, when we go to consideration stage, we'll look at all the proposals and find ways of fine-tuning them to produce a legislation that will stand the test of time. We are not the first to do this. This has been the practice in the United States for a very long time. So it's not new. There shouldn't be fears by those in the profession. I have always said that maintaining professional standard is not just a function of the training program. Professional standards are even better maintained by the judges in the courtroom. Because when your teachers have finished with you, depending on how you pass exams, there are many of us who will wait, and the day before we will commit everything to memory, go, pass, and the following morning we forget. So depending on how you pass the exams, the training itself in the classroom is no guarantee that you will maintain standards. It is the vigilance of the judges in court that will get the practicing lawyers to sit up, do the right thing, and then the standards will improve. And then the Bar Association also making sure that law firms are well organized, so that in law firms you will have seniors who will have time to tutor and train the younger ones so that they will improve their performance in the profession. So it's a lifelong thing, starting from the training in school to training in the courtroom and training in the law firm and at the bar. So if you just focus on education alone and fear that standards will fall because you are opening the floodgates in terms of access to writing the exams, I don't think that would be a fair analysis. Even in America where they are doing it, there's no indication that professional standards are low. So I urge colleagues to adopt the report, and I want to commend the Minister for bringing this bill to Parliament. This is a major promise of the NDC government. The NDC government has promised all those holding degrees in law that we will create a fair and equitable platform that will give them access to being called to the bar. And we are living up to our promises and our commitments. And that is why this bill is here. And I want to assure the students out there that we will do whatever it takes within this meeting of this Parliament to have this legislation enacted into law. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, before putting the question and to avoid taking part in the debate. Some of us have suffered a lot and can only say this bill is coming at the right time. Honourable members, there are instances where in the budget it will be indicated the number of students that will be enrolled into the Ghana School of Law, and at the same time they will budget the number of students that will fail. So sitting at the middle of the third row, we have difficulty. Because if you say you'll be admitting 200 students, but out of the 200 students, 100 will be called to the bar before the examination, you are telling me 100 will fail. So we had our own challenges, and I believed this is the way to address the issue. With this, I'll put a question. AG, you want to conclude?
Right, Honorable Speaker, I want to take the opportunity to thank honorable members, the able chairman of my Committee on Constitutional and Legal Affairs, for the good work that has been done on this bill, and for all the commendations. I was very happy that my colleague, the Honorable Tony Mia, said that this was a wonderful opportunity coming from the opposition. I thought that was very reassuring. And this is because the bill, as the Honorable Majority Leader has pointed out, it accords with the letter and spirit of the Constitution in Article 25 to create equality of opportunity for every one of our citizens desirous of becoming lawyers. The Honorable Majority Leader has described how strenuous it was for people to become lawyers in the past. But though it was a very strenuous system, it also guaranteed automatic entry to the law school if you were qualified enough to go through the LLB program. What this bill does is to clear the bottleneck, which is the monopoly of the Ghana School of Law, and also the so-called entrance exam that made it virtually impossible for even students who graduated with first class from very reputable universities to get into the Ghana School of Law. So, Mr. Speaker, the innovations introduced by this bill are very clear for everyone to see. We are introducing an accreditation program that will make sure that it is not every mushroom LLB school that will produce lawyers who will go on to write the bar exam. There will be accreditation and quality control to ensure that if there is a university producing LLB candidates, those candidates would have gone through a training that is either equivalent to or better than what I went through or what the Majority Leader went through before becoming lawyers. Mr. Speaker, we are also introducing the National Bar Exam so that those who go through the law practice training course at the universities, the accredited universities, can all write the National Bar Exam, which will be a standardized exam, that will be administered by the Council for Legal Education and its Bar Examination Committee. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Majority Leader has already made it abundantly clear that it is not true that this country has too many lawyers. There is this misperception out there that there are too many lawyers in this country. As the Honorable Majority Leader has pointed out, in the United States of America, the lawyer to residents or citizen ratio is 4 lawyers to 1,000 residents or 1,000 citizens in America. Here, it is 1 lawyer to 5,000 plus citizens. And so, Mr. Speaker, there is no oversupply of lawyers in this country. And so what the government of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is doing is to create
a system that will provide equality of opportunity for everyone who desires to be a lawyer, but at the same time maintain quality control such that we'll be producing some of the best lawyers on this planet Earth. So, Mr. Speaker, I urge everyone to support the motion for the adoption of the report, and also to actively take part, especially the lawyers, take part in the refinement of the bill, so that when it comes out and it is passed into law, it will be one that will stand the test of time. So, Mr. Speaker, I thank you very much for this opportunity, and I thank members for their participation.
Honourable members, at the conclusion of the debate, the question is as many as are in favour of the motion say aye. Those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted.
An act to establish the Council for Legal Education and Training to regulate legal education in the country, provide the curriculum and standards for legal education, and provide for related matters.
Honourable members, the Legal Education Reform Bill 2025 is accordingly read a second time. Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I think we were scheduled to start at 12. So, so far as the records are concerned, it was 12. We were late, but it was 12. So, technically, we've done 5 hours. So, we're in your hands.
Honourable Majority Leader, I beg to differ. So, you may move a motion for amendment, for adjournment.
Well,
So you move a motion for adjournment.
Mr. Speaker, I move that this House be adjourned to tomorrow 12 in the noon.
Yes.
Speaker, I second the motion.
Honourable members, motion moved and seconded, and it is for the consideration of the House. As many as are in favour of the adjournment, motion for adjournment, say aye. Those against say no. Honourable members, this House is accordingly adjourned till Wednesday, 4th February 2026 at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, following the ayes having it.
For me.